In this video, we are going to see how we can connect to a database from a Python application. It is very simple. If you want to connect to any database for that matter, if you want to connect to a database, we need the respective libraries. Suppose example, if you want to connect to MySQL database from Python, so we need to install the Python library. If you want to install, if you want to connect to a Postgres database, you need to install the Postgres library. Okay. So how you are going to install the libraries? You can use, you can use pip. So pip is basically a Python installer program, or it is a package management software for Python. What exactly your pip is doing? So if you want to develop any applications, or if your Python code is depending on any of the third-party libraries, you can use pip followed by install and name of the library. So this is the syntax using which you can install any third-party library into your Python code. So for PostgreSQL, if you want to work with Postgres from Python, so you have to install a module called psycopg2, psycopg2 hyphen binary is the name of the module. If you install this particular module, you will be able to connect to a Postgres database. So we'll try to look at what are the steps how you can connect to a database, right? So if you want to connect any database or any system, right, so you need to know few things. So first thing, what is the name of the system which you want to connect, right? And the second thing is, what is the username and password, if there is any. And the second thing, especially if you are as I'm talking about the database, you can, what database that you want to connect, right? So these are the four parameters are required. Okay, so the first thing is open a connection with DB, and the second thing is get a cursor. So cursor is basically used to perform any database operations, be it read operations like select query, or if you want to update or delete or create a new record, you have to get this cursor. Okay, so with the help of cursor only you can perform all the database manipulation operations. Okay, so the third thing is execute query. So you can run the query or you can pass the query with the help of cursor. And the fourth step is, once you are done with especially any data manipulation operations like create or update or delete, you have to commit. Okay, so these are the four steps which are involved if you want to connect to any database. So before you are executing or before you practice any database interaction examples, which database that you would like to connect, so that particular database must be installed in your machine. So in my case, I installed Postgres in my system. Okay, so this is how, let me show you how you can connect to Postgres. I am using a software called DBever. Okay, so DBever is one of the graphical user interface using which you can connect to any database, no matter what the database that you are using. It can be MySQL, it can be Oracle, it can be SQL Server, or it can be Postgres. So in our case, I already installed Postgres in my machine, and I'm trying to connect to that particular database using DBever software. Okay, fine. So now, meanwhile, the DBever is going to open, and I'll open up the PyCharm. Okay, I'm going to create a brand new project. So I'm creating a new project. So DB demo. Okay, so I'm just simply giving the name as DB demo. I am currently using Python 11 in my system. Okay, so you can simply click on create. DBever is asking me to update something, but I don't want those things. Okay, so this is what my Postgres database, which is currently running on 5432 port number, and this is the host. And if you can open up this thing, so this is the name of the database called Postgres. And for time being, if you look at under the schemas, all the tables will be there. So right now I already created a table called employee table, and if you want to look at what is the data is inside the employee table, you can go ahead and look at, right? And if you go to the data section, so it's trying to load the data. So right now we have 2 records. Okay, now in this example we are going to insert one more record in Postgres database, okay, from Python. Right. All right, so we'll jump to the DB demo which we just created. So as I mentioned, first thing is we have to install the respective module. So if you want to install a module, simply go here. You can run this command called pip install psycopg2 -binary. Okay, so there is a typo. Right, so I have installed the Python module, and the second thing is what we need is one more module called pip install. We have one more module called types hyphen the same thing G2. So this particular module is used to get some intelligent support. So whenever you are using Python like IDEs, right, if you are giving the control space, sometimes the intelligent support you are not going to get. If you want to get the appropriate intelligent support, I just installed this particular module called types psycopg2. This is specifically for the Postgres. So my required modules are installed into this application. Now I am going to create a new file, insert demo. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first step is basically you have to import the module. Okay, import psycopg2. Okay, and then the first thing is we have to open the connection, right? So as I mentioned, con is equal to, so this is the syntax, dot connect. So while connecting, as I mentioned, we need 4 values. So on which host your database is running, and what is the database that you want to connect, what is the username and password. So I am specifying the host name is basically localhost. Okay, so and then what is the database that you want to connect. So in my case it is Postgres, and you can use the user, again it is Postgres, and password is again Postgres. Okay, so this is going to be the I think host. Okay, so I gave the host, what is the database that I am trying to connect, what is the username, Postgres, and the password. Okay, so the second step is we need to get the cursor, right? So cursor cur equal to, with the help of con dot, see, so we have the cursor object. Okay, so if you want to get that intelligent support, if I give the control space, right, it is getting the cursor automatically. So to get that, actually I was installed the types module, otherwise you are not getting some machines. So if it is Python Enterprise Edition, you will get, as it is a community edition, sometimes if you are not getting the intelligent support, try to install this particular module. Okay, and next thing is you can execute the command. Okay, so how you are going to execute a query, basically with the help of cursor, right? So cursor dot, we have execute method. Execute method is basically taking two parameters. One is query and the second one is what are the variables. Okay, so for time being I'm just giving the query here. Okay, you can give any name, query. So insert into employee. Okay, and the values, what are the column names we have in the database that you can check. Name and age. ID is basically primary key and auto increment, so you really need not to specify the ID value. If you give the name and age, that is sufficient. Okay, now we'll go back to the code. Just simply name and age. I am giving the values or percentile s and percentile s, two values. Okay, and then value, I am just giving any name, you can take even value, or for that matter you can take anything. So value equal to, and you can supply any value. Okay, so for now demo, and the age is 25. Okay, so and now you can cursor dot execute, you can pass this query and you can pass the value. So as per the statements, right, I opened the connection, I got the cursor, I am going to execute this query, right? So once you execute the query, you have to commit, as I mentioned, right? So this is going to be connection dot commit. So commit is basically used to store the record permanently. If you are not using commit, so database operation is performed, it's logical only, the record is not going to be saved in your database permanently. Okay, that is the reason I have used this statement called commit. So right after that I am just printing whether the record was inserted or not for my understanding. Okay, so record insert successful. Simple, right? So no fancy stuff, it's within just 10 lines of code, you are done with your database insertion. We'll see whether it is going to work for us or not. So execute this code. Okay, first time it is taking some time. So we are seeing this message, record inserted successfully. Check whether we have the record inserted or not. Earlier we used to have 2 records, and now if you refresh this data, let's go. So or else how, okay, or else what you can write is basically you can go here and you can generate the script also. Okay, I'm trying to refresh this data whether it is reflected or not. Let me quickly refresh. See, so we have the third record was inserted, demo and 25. So this is a very straightforward, simple. If you look at the other programming languages, you have to write a good number of lines of code if you want to interact with the database, but in Python it is pretty straightforward. You simply install the required libraries and open the connection with the right credentials, get the cursor and perform the insert operations. Okay, so this is how you are going to interact with database, and this is how you are going to insert the data into your Postgres database. So there is a strong reason behind why I have chosen Postgres as part of this demo. So going forward, I am going to execute or cover few of the artificial intelligence and machine learning examples. During the time, we are going to use a vector database. So Postgres is also support vector database. That is the reason I have chosen Postgres, so that you are going to familiar and you are going to comfortable while executing and doing those examples. So thank you for watching.